Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'll be working on my Portulacaria afra forest. These trees are styled to look like the giant African Baobab trees. So today I'll be doing some more pruning. I last worked on this forest about 2 months ago. I brought it up out of the cold basement, out of dormancy. I replaced all my dead trees that died last winter with cuttings, and I gave it a pruning. Here's a look at the forest now. So hopefully in the next week or so, it's all going to wake up, get all kinds of new foliage. Hopefully my cuttings will root. If not, I'll just keep trying until I get them a cutting to root in there. Since the last pruning, it's grown really vigorously with large internodes between the leaves, and that might be because it had a dormant period, it had a rest period, and now it's just bursting with vigor and growing like crazy. So today I'm going to prune that new growth back, making the tree more compact. After I pruned this forest last time, I ended up with quite a flat top on the main tree here. And you can see now that it's grown into that rounded shape. And that often happens on trees. You kind of prune them off flat, and all the vigor of the tree is in the center. So it grows more vigorously in the center and less vigorously on the edges. So you naturally get that domed canopy if you've pruned it off to a flatter type shape. The idea behind this forest is to give the impression of giant baobab trees growing in the African savanna. So I've got kind of a dry landscape, rocky dry landscape, and the trees, I'm trying to grow the trunks really thick, but maintain the height of the trees. So looking at this tree, I would say it's getting too tall in height. The taller the tree gets, the skinnier the trunk looks. You know, if you imagine this tree being kind of that height, it would have a really short, squat, fat trunk. And that's the look I'm after. So I generally let these trees grow, you know, with a lot of vigor, and then I prune them back. And gradually over the years, that trunk will thicken up and you'll get, you know, a nice branch structure and try and duplicate that baobab look to the tree. Let's look at some photographs now of giant African baobab trees. And I'll show you that kind of styling that I'm looking for. The fat trunks, the highly tapered branches, and kind of a compact rounded crown. That was a look at some nice giant African baobab trees. So on this tree, I'm pruning the upper canopy here because I want to take advantage of any back budding to shorten the overall height of the tree. I don't want the tree getting tall, and I think it's starting to get too tall now. I'm hoping I don't have to do some hard pruning on it to reduce the height. I may have to do that in the future. I've done it in the past where I cut the entire tree down to about here and regrew it. And that's part of growing a thick trunk, is you let it grow and then you prune it back, and then you let it grow again, prune it back, and gradually you get this really thick, highly tapered trunk on the tree. I'm going to start the work on this lowest branch here. It comes up and divides into 2, maybe 3 back here, and then it grows up really tall up into the upper canopy. So I'm going to start reducing the height of that first, taking that branch that's growing up through the canopy here. Take that back. And then I don't want this one growing on the inside here, so I'll take that one off totally, like that. There's a leaf on the inside I can remove also. So now everything's fanning outwards. I've got a branch here that's kind of crossing, and I've got a better branch on the outside, so I'll take this inside one off, like that. And then I'll need to reduce these tips back to there. So that's got that branch pruned up. Now I've got to decide, do I want this one this tall? Do I Do I want it coming out front more? So it is possible I have a shoot at the back here that's going in towards the tree, but I could get another one growing outwards if I prune this tall one back. I'm looking from the front of the tree and it is very straight, this section here. So I think I've got to prune it off shorter. So I've got a shoot coming out the back, so I'm hoping one comes out the front here, so I'll take it off here. Here I go, like that. I like to get taper in these branches. I'm just going to take a stub off here. I have an opportunity here to go from this thickness down to a new shoot here, removing this upper part. So I'm going to take advantage of that and take this part of the branch off, like that. Now there's one growing towards the inside here. I'll remove that also, like that. And then I'll want this branch to come out towards the front, so I'll take it back to here, leaving just the one leaf on it. Now I've got a shoot coming up here. I've got to decide, do I want that? I don't think so. I've gotten a nice change of taper from thick here to thinner here. So I think I'm just going to take that off, like that. So that's got that front branch pruned up. I've got a branch here. If I follow this one up, it's really nice. It goes from very thick here, tapers down, divides into two here, and I want to continue that taper. So this comes up. I've got a thin branch here, which is growing in towards the tree, which isn't really a good branch at all. I've got one horizontal here, and I could reduce the height of the tree by taking this upper part off. Just taking a stub off here. And I've got to decide, is that what I want? I think so. I think this is a good branch to develop, and I can remove this upper part. That would reduce the height of the tree, especially at the edges of the canopy, which would help me get that nice rounded shape. So I'm going to remove it. Here I go. Like that. And then there's a new shoot coming off of here that I've got to reduce back. So now I've got to decide, do I want to keep this one that's growing in towards the center of the tree? It's a nice branch. It's kind of twisty. I'll take off that vertical growth on it. So I'll remove this shoot like that. And I have to decide, do I want that one? I think I do. I think it's a rule breaker. A rule breaker of a branch, but it's a nice branch. It's got some movement to it. Just taking some stubs off. Yeah, I kind of like that branch. I'll just take some of the tips off it to keep it nice and compact. Like that. Now it's got that pruned up. It's got this entire branch pruned up. And hopefully something will shoot out in this area, you know. Get some back budding, get a nicer direction, but at least it's a bit lower now, this whole branch. The branch I just pruned, it comes up, it divides into two. I dealt with the front half of that branch, and now I'm going to prune the back half. So again, to get that kind of dome-shaped canopy to it, I need these branches at the edges of the canopy to be quite low. So I'm going to just prune back some of these long shoots for now, and we'll come in and see how it looks. And then maybe I can reduce it further. I've got back here, I've got 3 branches. I got 2 more horizontal ones, and then there's one kind of going up the middle here. I'll take this tall one off. That'll reduce the height of that branch. I'll prune back some of these tips on it, getting that branch more compact. I could take this one off on the inside here and develop these horizontal ones, which I think I will. It'll give it a little more movement to that branch. So I'll take this entire tip off here. There. So that's got that branch nice and pruned up. Now this branch, it comes up and then it kind of grows in towards the center of the tree. There's nothing really on the much on the outside except for this one shoot here. So I'll take off the shoot that's growing to the inside here, like that. That gets that branch going a better direction. But this back part has nothing coming towards me, so I'm not sure what I should do there. I'll take off this one on the inside here. And I may just have to wait for something to develop on the outside there. I got nothing. There's another one growing on the inside I could remove here. Right here, like that. And I've got one growing up in between here. I'll take that one off. There. Yeah, not the greatest branch in the world, that one, but something will happen. We'll get some branching on it. Just a matter of time. I'm going to start work on the other edge of the canopy over on this side, reducing some of that down. So I'll start by removing these vertical shoots here, cutting them back anyway. Reduce these tips, prune them back, get them more compact. There's a branch growing the inside here. I'll take that one off. Now I have two good branches here, and there's a third one behind. I'm going to take that third one right off, like that. Yeah, there's always some tough pruning decisions on these trees. I think I am going to take that off. Everything tells me I should take it off, so I am. Here I go. It's done. It certainly doesn't change the appearance of the tree at all, so that's good. And I'm glad to get that off. Now, I don't want these branches getting too long, and they are starting to sprawl out. So if I can reduce this branch back a bit, I will. I'm going to take it off here, like that. That just gets us a little more compact, so it's not sprawling out too far sideways. I don't want it looking like an acacia tree with a flat top and, you know, very long canopy. All right, so I'm going to reduce this shoot back. Now, I'm going to deal, there's a branch coming out the front here. I'm going to get that. So here's a vertical part I can take off. Another vertical shoot here I can remove, like that. I can prune these ones back, take the tips off them, tip off of here. I'm going to take some of these vertical shoots off the top here. They're just shooting straight up with vigor. So I'll reduce them back or remove some of them off totally if they're no good. Now there's a good point here. I can reduce this height of this branch because I have some back budding down lower. So I'll take advantage of that and prune the top of that branch off. So I'm looking for my back budding down here, and off comes the top, like that. So I took a lot of sub branches off. I'll get better taper in that branch. It's nice when you can prune a branch back and improve the branch. Okay, I've got a branch kind of crisscrossing on the inside here. I'm going to take that crisscrossing part off, keeping my more vertical part. Now again, some of these branches are getting a little sprawling over here, and I think I need to reduce them back if I can. And I think I can on this one. So here I go. That is done. There's a chance for good taper here. I've got this thicker part of the trunk. It comes up, and then I've got two branches coming horizontal here. And then I've got an upright part here that's quite thick. I could remove that entire upright part. That would give more light to these branches over in this area. I get more taper. I'd reduce the height of my tree. The tree flows out nicely towards the front. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this whole upper part off. I'll lose that nice twisty branch, but I think it'll be better for the tree in the end. So here I go. Big cut coming up. Just like that. Now that's a good cutting. I'll root this as a cutting. I'll just take that twisty branch off. Okay, now does that look better? It certainly does. I like that. It really improved the lines of that branch. I'm looking at this branch, following it up. I divide into two, and then I've got a thick one growing kind of in towards the middle there, and I think it's kind of cluttering that area up, and it's getting quite high. I've got one kind of growing from the front view in between these forks right here, which isn't very nice. I'm going to start by pruning that one off. Too much congestion in that area. That's better. Yeah, so I have a chance. If I prune that one off, I get a lot of taper in that area. But it's not the worst in the world either. It's directly behind, from the front view, this branch is directly behind this one. So it doesn't really contribute to the design a whole lot. And it does grow back in towards the center of the tree. I'm going to remove it. I have to do it. I just have to remove it. Here I go. It's gone. And that is also a nice cutting. I'll just clean up the end here. Plant it. I've got a branch here that comes off, and it's very dense up top here. So I've got to clean that up. So there's a branch growing on the inside here. I'll have to remove like that. Now this back branch here, I've got, it comes up, divides into two here, and then I got this kind of awkward branch off to the side. I don't think I need that one. Certainly you wouldn't miss it from the front view, so I'm going to remove that. Like that. So there's a look at the front view, and it's getting a little tall and heavy off to this one side here. So I'm going to have to do something. This side's nice. It divides up, and you know, the ramification gets finer and finer as you get towards the outer edges of the canopy. But this side is kind of grows up very coarse, divides into two, and then the ramification's too high. So that requires a bit of cutting. Well, I can take this vertical part off here, like that. I've got a division here. I can take this third one off here, like that. That's a little better. Not perfect, but better. There's a branch going here in a bad spot. I think what I've got to do is see this branch here. I've got to take this part off. I've got another branch developing behind. That would do it. So I'm going to take that right off. So here I go. Like that. Whew, big cut there. And again, this one will get planted as a cutting. There's the front view of the main tree. I hope that's looking better. I think it is. It's a little more compact. You can see the trunk structure better. Hopefully it looks a little more like a baobab. Yeah, I think that's looking better. It certainly makes the trunk more powerful, I think. Getting it a little shorter and more compact. You can see the trunk really nicely now. So I'm going to prune up the tree over here now. Okay. There's my little spider in there. I got to be careful not to disturb my little spiders, but Okay, let's start pruning back. My last tree that isn't a cutting is the one back here on the left-hand side, so I'll prune that one up next. All right, I'll clean up all the leaves that are on the forest floor here, and we'll come back and have a look at it. Here's a look at the forest now with it all cleaned up, pruned up, and ready to grow again. So I'm just standing back looking at it. I think once summer hits, it's going to grow like crazy once again, and we'll keep at it, you know, developing that trunk and branches thicker and thicker and trying to maintain the compact size of the tree. And slowly, over the years, hopefully it'll get to look more and more like the African baobabs. That would be cool. I think it's already starting to get that look to it now. Especially the main tree. It's starting to thicken up, and I'm getting a lot of taper in some of the branches. That one out to the right-hand side here, it starts off really thick and tapers quickly. I like that. So yeah, I can see, you know, further pruning. Maybe this vertical tip can come off in the future. Yeah, the more branches you have, the more options you have for the future. So it's good to get back budding, and, you know, you can keep reducing the trees back to living branches. All right, I'm really happy with that. I'll rotate the forest around so you can see it from all angles. It's nice to see the Portulacaria afra forest all pruned up once again. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.